Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear. And hey, this is a podcast for the chilihead community, by the chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Man, we have an amazing episode here tonight. We have 3 products on Hot or Not. We have an amazing guest locked and loaded. And of course, we brought back a very fun game of Keep 5, Cut 5. Let's go ahead and start tonight's episode. Episode 75 starts now. Hey, welcome on in, Swear Nation. So glad to have everyone here, rocking and rolling. Whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for being here. Couldn't do this without y'all. Continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads and, individuals that are just curious about the world of spice, because you can find everything to do with the world of hot right here on the Swear Word. Tonight, we have a very amazing lineup of treats to try here from Sip's Creations. We have 3 different items. We have 2 that are marshmallows and 1 that is a prototype of a challenge that Sip will be releasing here soon, as well as we have Sip Chomper here as our guest tonight. And we have a very fun game of Keep 5, Cut 5 set up, ready to go. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and kick it on over to Hot or Not. All right, hey, welcome on into Hot or Not. We have 3 amazing products here from Sip Chomper, from Sip's Creations. These are the spicy strawberry marshmallow. We have the root beer float squisher. That's also another marshmallow. And then we have a prototype chocolate challenge that he has teed up. We're going to give some input as far as what I think on the chocolate prototype challenge here tonight. And obviously, we're going to be diving in and enjoying that flaming strawberry marshmallow and that root beer float squisher. So let's do this. Let's start out with what we'll do is we'll go with the marshmallows first. We'll start with the root beer float to get a good idea of what these marshmallows taste like and what to expect before we start adding some heat in here. So grab this one here. Once again, root beer float squisher. And it has a nice image of a float going on. So, oh wow. Very nice size marshmallow here. Amazing aroma. You're just getting greeted with this, root beer float smell. Overall, the root beer's there. You're picking up the nice overall sweetness that kind of comes forward from, I'm assuming, the marshmallow, but also might be in the flavoring. You're getting a little bit of potentially, is that maybe vanilla with the root beer aroma? So excited to see what's going on here. Let's give it a good squeeze. As you can see, the nice flexibility and texture to this. Loving what's going on here. I mean, great resilience, great squishiness to the marshmallow. I don't know about you, but for me, being able to have a nice textured marshmallow that is firm enough but has enough give is ideal. Definitely if you're like me, you have your kids out there and you're trying to do some marshmallow roasting. If the marshmallow is too squishy, too soft to start with, it's just going to fall right off of the stick and you're not going to be able to actually get a good roast on it. So let's see how the pull goes. Man, I love that. Nice, bounces right back. Nice hold. The aroma still very strong, very noticeable, but let's dig in. Oh, man. This is dangerously good right here. Obviously, no heat on this. All enjoyable flavor. Great root beer taste the whole way through. A very nice, soft, subtle hitting of the tongue. As it starts to melt in your mouth, it ends up leaving a nice creamy, soft, inviting note on the tongue and on the gums. All in all, disintegrates nicely. does not get bound or stuck in the teeth like some other marshmallows can do. I'm really digging this one. I could see this. I could easily see this being added in a drink. Or if you're into spicy chugs, making your drink, putting your tink, stirring it up, and then dropping this in there. Having that little residual in it, you know, to soak up some of that heat, and then you're getting, you know, kind of a delayed effect. You're getting your chug, but then you're also enjoying, you know, some of this here that has soaked it up, and you bite back into it, and it's like you've taken another drink right again. Amazing stuff here. I'm gonna put this down. Let's check out, see if there's any ingredients on this. Oh, yes, it does. Okay. So ingredients on the root beer float squisher. It is sugar, corn syrup, gelatin, salt, flavoring, and olive oil for the non-stick. Man, this is so good. Absolutely amazing. Sip, knocked it out of the park with this one. But let's do this. Let's jump over to the strawberry, the flamin' strawberry marshmallow. So this one is going to definitely be a spicier version of the marshmallow, and it's going to be strawberry flavored based on what you're reading here. So definitely looking forward to jumping into this. Let's get this one opened up. Very nice size marshmallow going on here. I mean, absolutely monstrous for what you're getting. This has, once again, a very nice texture to it. Soft enough that it's there. Also firm enough that it holds and bounces back. No sticky residue, nothing really falling apart. You can see the flex, and it just holds nicely. Very strong, noticeable strawberry aroma. It smells, honestly, it smells like it was used with like fresh strawberries, possibly freeze dried or something of that nature to turn into a powder. That's what kind of aroma I'm picking up. It doesn't have that artificial smell. So definitely excited to, you know, check out this, as well as you can see little bits of quite possibly strawberry, or that's pepper powder in there. Either way, like what's going on. Nice flex, bounces right back. This is one of those moments where it's, you know, don't play with your food, and I'm over here playing with the food. So let's get that nice pull. Oh, man. Beautiful. Like it. Once again, right off the bat, greeted with the amazing strawberry flavor, the strawberry taste carries through, and then as it starts to disintegrate in your mouth and you're chewing up the rest, it's just going, it's leaving this amazing strawberry, and as the strawberry really starts to hit the peak of the flavor profile on that, you're greeted with the great pepper taste and heat coming in. And it is this harmonious blend on the ride out of strawberry and pepper straight through, with just enough sweetness to know it's there. It's not overpoweringly sweet. It doesn't taste like it's just, you know, that synthetic, almost kind of fake taste. You're not getting any of that here. Very well done. Very well executed. Love what's going on here from Sips Creations. Man. A chili head, spicy s'more would be phenomenal with this. Really, either. But if you're looking for a marshmallow with some heat, this is it. Beautiful pull, as you just saw there. Nice shake to the overall marshmallow. Just loving this. Very well executed. I will say, if you're just starting out, you know, this is still going to be something that you're going to be able to enjoy. Now, Once again, I say that as well to say if you are just getting going, you probably would only be able to comfortably eat a small portion at a time of this and really try to figure out where you get comfortable. Because as the initial heat is not much, the overall burn starts to actually amplify more than initial heat. So if you're just tuning in, you're trying to figure out why I'm mentioning heat and burn as if it's two separate things. I do view it as separate. Heat is that first initial 30 seconds at max, and then anything past that 30-second mark is really, where it sits, how it sits. Does it amplify? Does it migrate, etc.? Does it hit the throat? Does it hit the stomach? Does it hit the chest? All these things kind of come into factor with that. So that's where burn comes in. And the burn on this, the initial heat hits the gums and hits the front of the mouth. The burn ends up starting to set towards the back of the throat, and you can feel just a little bit in the chest, not too much. I would be honestly curious to know if the burn that is being felt in the chest isn't just from the overall disintegration, if you will, as you are ingesting the marshmallow. Quite possibly it. Right now, as I'm saying this as well, I'm feeling the burn to go away in the chest, and it's only in the throat. But an amazing chili head snack here. Or if you are, midway through your journey, you're starting to eat some, habanero level heat sauces. This is going to be a nice addition for a sweet treat for you to incorporate from Sips Creations. This is absolutely amazing. Very well balanced. The fact that you're getting the same great taste and the same great heat throughout this whole entire marshmallow is absolutely phenomenal. Oftentimes it would be something that you could think of being, maybe an uneven spread of powder or this, that, and the other that could potentially happen in this. And, Sip has this down because there is none of that issue going on here. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is the Flaming Strawberry from Sips Creations. That one has no ingredients for us to read off. However, I can definitely tell you that obviously it does have strawberry, and I would be willing to bet that that is a Superhot powder that is used in this Flaming Strawberry marshmallow. So just by the way it's sitting, where it's burning, and all these things indicates to me that it is a Superhot of some sort. So excited to learn a little bit more about that later in the interview. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and we will jump on over to this here prototype. This is, from what I understand, a working prototype for a future potential League of Fire challenge. And so going to give some input on this here. Nice overall chunks going on. Interested to see what's going on in here from outside visual inspection. Maybe that's peanut. Maybe that's pretzel. It's hard to tell until I bite in, but great smell, great aroma, nice overall just chocolate smell. Chocolate. There's a little bit of a different note, but it's not quite distinguishable if that is pepper powder or something that I'm picking up in this, or if it's just a different ingredient, but it is familiar, but without really biting into it, I'm not too certain. But here we go from Sips Creations. This is a prototype challenge, and here we go. Oh my goodness. Amazing. It is a nice brittle of some sort is what it looks like. Let me get a close-up here. There we go. As you can see there, a nice airy, hard candy brittle like going on in here, coated with chocolate. Absolutely amazing. Definitely butterscotch going on here. Love the crunch, love the texture. Initially, you're getting the chocolate as a nice, kind, soft pillow, if you will, to this. And then the airy, brittle aspect in there, that butterscotch inside is absolutely amazing with those air pockets in there, allowing it to have a nice crunch, a nice crumble, and that texture feel that you want whenever you're trying this out. I mean, home run. If this is what you're working on for a next prototype, this is going to be an absolute amazing challenge. Tasty as can be. Very well done. Heat-wise, not for the faint of heart. This is going to be, one that if you're doing challenges and you're going with it, this is going to be definitely manageable. You're going to be able to enjoy yourself. If you're just starting out, and when this product drops, probably not one to just ease into and jump out, start out with. I would say this is definitely hotter than the Chomper chip. So if you've had the Chomper chip, this is definitely hotter than that. But man, as far as the taste and the overall experience of it all, it is absolutely amazing, very well done, and enjoyable the whole way through. I mean, it tastes like almost kind of like a spicy Butterfinger. This one is a much bigger piece than the other two. All right, here we go. Absolutely amazing stuff. The chocolate itself doesn't taste like it has any heat in it. I'm pretty certain all the heat is coming from the inside, because as you're chewing this, the initial heat that you get off of this product is definitely hitting the middle of the mouth and going straight to the back of the throat. Now, as the burn kicks in, it really latches in deeper on the back of the throat, starts to increase the overall burn. It starts to ramp up. You're getting a nice sizzling, soaring, type of height. And then it just goes into a nice smoldering roll after that. A little bit in the chest, nothing too crazy. I'm trying to sit here and think about, in perspective to the Chomper chip, how this one was. Definitely will say, once again, this is definitely hotter than the Chomper chip challenge. So if you're looking for a spicier challenge from Sips Creations, it seems that he has this one in works, and whenever it drops, you definitely need to check this one out. I could definitely see it rolling out at that same level of heat and being perfectly fine for another early on type of challenge heat range. If you were to add more heat to this product, man, it would be one of those that it would justify pushing for more and almost being a glutton for punishment, if you will, because of how amazing it tastes. And if the heat was notched up, and just having that imbalance of like you're enjoying the burn, but the burn is also climbing, but the overall enjoyment from the taste of the product and the overall feel, the texture, the experience of it all would just greatly outweigh the heat. And it could be, I could see this one being an absolute home run either way. If there was a hotter version, I think it would still do great as well. So burn wise, I would attribute this to be similar in heat as, say, maybe like maybe about a ghost pepper range. So, not too hot, not too crazy, but hot enough to be a challenge, hot enough to be noticeable. The burn on this is phenomenal. Amazing flavor the whole way through. You're getting not only the chocolate and the brittle inside, that butterscotch filling, if you will, the butterscotch insides, but you're getting a great tasting pepper throughout and a nice burn that does build and does a nice roaring rumble to the overall experience. So, Sip, amazing job there. If you would like to pick up any of these products reviewed here tonight, or you would like to pick up maybe some non-spicy treats for some family members, some friends, some coworkers, highly recommend checking out Sip's Creations and grab yourself some amazing marshmallows, some toasted, roasted nuts, or, grab yourself some challenges. So either way, you're going to have a great time. Let's go ahead and kick it on over to the interview. Hey, Sip, how's it going?
Hey, it's going.
Man, so glad to have you here. You're always, there in the chat, very strong. Love the support, love what you're doing. Also, blown away by your overall quality of your products that you have. Amazing stuff. You're knocking it out of the park. Chocolate is on point. Those marshmallows are phenomenal. I don't understand how you do it, but you do it. And so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm
Well,
excited to be here.
one thing we always like to lead off with is getting a really good understanding of, what got you into the world of hot and what made you decide you wanted to really start creating product.
Yeah, so I've always kind of liked spicy things and whatnot, and everybody kind of kept telling me, well, try the one chip challenge, try the one chip challenge. So at one point, I was like, yeah, maybe someday. But then coming back from a family reunion kind of thing, we stopped at a gas station, and I found one at the gas station, picked it up, and I did it when I got home. And I did it before dinner, so on an empty stomach, and had the worst cramps ever. And I was like, yeah, that was not fun, but let's do that again. So so then so then I got a few other challenges, and then I found League of Fire, and then started doing things for League of Fire. Started enjoying a lot of the challenges there. Got a card, and then I was like, well, what if I just started to try to make something on my own? And then I made the first edition of the Chomper chip, which was essentially a Chomper chip covered in confectionery chocolate, um, like Melter's chocolate,
Hmm.
and then with POW in it. So then I was like, okay, cool. So and then shipped out a few of those. People really really liked them. Um, and then they were like, well, how can we buy these? And I was like, I don't know. Let me try to figure out how to get that all set up. And then I was like, went to League of Fire, and I was like, how can I sell Chomper chips, stuff like that? And they're like, well, you have to be a legal business. And then I was like, oh boy. So then I had to figure out how to do all that. Then finally got that all done. And then went from kind of the Chomper chip, like a potato chip, to more of a chocolate cluster with potato chip in it, and mint hard candy that's been ground up into kind of a powder to give it a little extra crunch. And then now it's made with all 100% chocolate made straight from the bean.
Very nice. I mean,
Yep.
it definitely shines through in the quality of chocolate that you have there. So kudos there. How long did that process take to figure out?
Um, so a lot of looking up online how to do certain things, how to well, first how to make chocolate, how to do that stuff, and then once I kind of figured that out, then I had to kind of perfect it on how to get kind of like my own flavors with the roasting, because we do our own roasting also.
Okay.
So I brought a few things, but So essentially, you just have these beans right here,
Okay.
and then what these turn into after you stick them through a roaster, and then you crush them up in an actual like a mill kind of thing, crunch them.
Yep.
Then you get these, which are called nibs. It's just the
Okay.
inside portion of those. And then we built like a PVC pipe thing with a shop vac on it. It's called a winnower. And what that does is that sucks up the it sucks up the husk and then leaves the nibs down in a bucket. And
Oh
then
wow.
from there, pretty much we have to mill that in a mill to make it smooth like chocolate.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah. The so I'm familiar with just like raw cacao. So is that through the same process essentially, just taking the nibs
Yep.
and then grinding that up?
So yeah, this is like the raw cacao is from the cacao beans here, and then once we roast it, that's when we kind of bring out the flavors of the chocolate or the molasses flavoring or usually
Oh.
whatever they kind of wrap it in, because a lot of times when it chocolate's wrapped, I mean it's mostly wrapped in like banana leaves and they leave them out in the sun for weeks, but you kind of get the different flavors from that area
Got it.
and then
Okay.
that come out of that. And then once you add like the milk powder and all that stuff, and majority of the chocolate we make now is a 50% chocolate. So we usually make them in 1,000 to 2,000 gram batches, so smaller batches.
Hmm.
But so pretty much a 50% um chocolate is pretty much 50% cocoa solid in it.
Okay.
So cocoa powder or well like the nib, the butter, all that stuff is all considered cocoa solid. Anything else such as milk powder, sugar, vanilla that you add in, that's the other 50%, which is 500
Oh.
grams of that 1,000 gram batch.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Now,
Yep.
I would assume, I mean, I know from just seeing it online that this is kind of the case, but the process by way you're going about roasting is very similar in the same vein as like with coffee. Is that true? Like, do
Yep.
you find a common correlation between those that are into making their own chocolate as being kind of that same group that's really trying to figure out how to make their own roasts for coffee?
Yep. So yeah, that is true. A lot of that is kind of like the roaster kind of figuring out what flavors they like too on different temperatures and time. And the way we actually roast is we have a it's a drum roaster, but it's a mini tabletop coffee roaster.
Okay.
Yep.
Very nice. Okay. Now, the whole process sounds very, very, time consuming from that
Oh yeah.
standpoint. It does, obviously, you're saying that you're sucking out the husk. Is there any kind of like ancillary use for that? Like, obviously, with gardening, there's a lot of things that you kind of cross over, say, something that may be a waste in what you're actually intending it for, then can cross over to gardening. Are you able to cross that over it
Yep.
in any way?
So we don't actually use the husk right now. In the future, I plan on maybe talking to a few other people that could benefit from the husk if we do like bigger batches and stuff like that. Like get more batches because a lot of the companies we talk to would need more than what we're producing.
Okay.
But you can use the husk for like they make husk like mulch that you put like around like trees and stuff. And then also there's people that make cacao tea,
Wow. Okay. I had
which
no clue you could even do tea with that. That's wild to
yep.
think.
I know there's
Makes
like a certain process to that. I have no clue on how that is, how they wash the actual husk and stuff. Because I know the husk and stuff. The reason why you kind of like roast it and you crack it and you don't want really any of the husk in with the chocolate is because the bacterial growth and all that stuff on the husk.
okay. Okay.
But I know there's a process that they can do to make tea from it.
Interesting. All right. Well, so your prototype challenge that I had tried out tonight, absolutely phenomenal. nailed the flavor, the texture, the whole experience the way through. The outside of that chocolate is so nice, inviting. It's soft. It's creamy, and you're getting all that, and then you get that nice texture from the crunch, and it tastes like a nice spicy Butterfinger.
Nice. Nice.
So love what you're doing there. And if if you're, it's definitely hotter than the Chomper chip, that's for sure.
Yep.
And it's also one of those that I could easily see because of the way that chocolate is so like inviting and enticing, and the flavors of the inside. It's phenomenal. I could see that being one of those challenges that if you were to like leave, I would think leaving the rest of this, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but just thinking through as my experience from it, if you were to ramp up the heat, it'd be one of those that it's so enticing to continue to eat, and you're almost just doing yourself in because of the amount of heat that you're taking at the same time. So it's a deadly challenge, and it's definitely a good one.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we plan on making that more hotter.
Okay. Okay. What and this is what I was thinking as far as the heat that I kind of got back from it. So, curious to know, if you want to say it. If not, that's fine too. But the heat source on it reminded me of about a ghost heat level is what I was kind of getting off of the challenge in a whole. Obviously, the first few bites, it's not quite the same, but as you get through it, it starts to level out about ghost pepper heat.
Okay. Yeah, it actually has dragon's breath in it, but not a whole lot of it,
Uh-huh.
because I kind of try when I build my challenges, I try to go lower and then add more and more and more, mainly because I'm trying to keep the flavor and I want to try to get it up to that point where like the flavor to me isn't good, and then I can try to figure out how to amp the flavor from there and then keep the heat going.
Yeah.
Because I like a good tasting challenge, but for this one I'm trying to get it more at 5-6 points for League of Fire hot, and obviously it's not. I don't believe it's quite there yet, but
Yeah, the one the prototype I tried, I definitely would say, like I said, it's hotter. I would say maybe it also depends. Now, the size that you sent, would that be about the size of the
yep,
challenge itself? Okay.
yep,
So, yeah, based off of that, I would say it could easily be compared to what I've had that are in the 3-4 range as far as points. It's about on par with the heat expectations of those. So, I could easily see it, at least where it currently sits, falling in that
yep.
category. So, no, super
Cool.
excited to see that one roll out. That's going to be one that I can guarantee there's going to be people doing multiples thereof through the wazoo on, because it's just so tasty. All right. Well, so we've talked on that prototype and the other challenge as well, but I definitely do not want to skip over these amazing marshmallows. I mean, from a texture standpoint, the flex, the give, the bounce back, everything the whole way through is phenomenal. And to really have that nice pull part as well, it doesn't leave a sticky residue on your hands. One of the things I also attributed it to is really, far too often I immediately reflected on roasting marshmallows with my kids. And, if you get some of these marshmallows, they're just so thin and flimsy and already gushy before you even heat them, and they just fall off, right, as you're trying to roast them.
Right.
These have such a nice grab, but they're like, while that sounds counterintuitive, they also remain nice and fluffy on the inside. So, man, you have that down pat. That is amazing. And that
Thank you.
strawberry carries through, and it is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it definitely tasted like maybe like a freeze dried or a fresh strawberry, because it did not
Yep.
taste synthetic. So
Yeah,
that part was perfect.
it's actually a company that's the only flavor I buy from a different company than my normal flavoring profile that I buy from, and they use natural wild strawberries,
Definitely
and then they
noticeable.
make that into kind of like a puree.
It's phenomenal. I love being able to kind of see the little and that's what I was thinking is possible is seeing little pieces of like either seed from the strawberry or something in there, or maybe that was the powder. I'm not too certain, but
Pepper powder, probably.
okay. I was
Yep.
just like blown away by just the look, everything. It really just screamed that strawberry, and it had a very nice heat. I mentioned how ultimately I could see this being a great addition to putting in, say, like obviously I wouldn't just chug with this, but for a spicy chug, if you're just going to kind of leisurely sip, because then you could actually eat the marshmallow afterwards that has soaked up a lot of that tink and drink, and it gives that nice, added, bonus to it all, as I was saying, a nice chili head s'more with that would be phenomenal.
Ooh, yep.
Oh man. Oh, it had my gears turning, and I was thinking of all the things that could be done. So no, yeah, man, amazing stuff. So
Thank you.
what kind of what got you interested in, choosing the products that you've chosen? Like, what's your inspiration behind all that?
So, like I said, kind of before, is once I had to figure out how to start the business for the Chomper chip. Obviously, I can't run a business just on Chomper chips because I got to kind of have to venture out to other groups too, like the non-spicy group.
Yep.
So I made then from there. I pretty much was just like, well, it was kind of around like that summery time when we were having campfires and stuff, and I was like, I wonder if I could make my own marshmallows. So I kind of like looked into like make how what made marshmallows. I kind of made marshmallows and played around with the flavors, and then I kind of figured out the recipe like mixture that I kind of liked the best that worked for me, and then I stuck with that, and now I just kind of add flavoring to them from there. They're all kind of base, normal. They're all kind of the same. It's just depending upon what flavors and stuff in it, changes obviously a little bit of their texture.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Some are a little stiffer.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I mean, so yeah, definitely thinking between the root beer and the strawberry. Yeah, the root beer had a little bit more firmness of a feel, but the overall bite and the experience through it was the same experience on both, just from an outside, feel, if you will, texture point. It did have a little bit more firmness, but nothing too crazy. So definitely like that a lot. That was super cool to see and to try. I had no, like, it blew my mind to think of a spicy marshmallow. So yeah, that was very cool. Um, okay. Now, how, from a everyday experience in kind of use case, do you often use are you often using like pepper powders, or is it more sauce? What do you kind of gravitate towards on your personal use?
I like a lot of sauces. Well, not a whole lot of sauces. I kind of stick to my few brands that I like. I know I like Uncle Bull Cow, his Blazing Bonnet one. That's pretty
Okay.
much one of my favorite always go to sauces. And then I do have a few like local sauces from. I go to a Pepper Fest here. It's probably about a half an hour or so away in Beaver Dam,
Okay.
and they have a pepper there that they've called the Beaver Dam pepper. So a
Okay.
lot of their sauce is in that. It's kind of like it's like the size. It's like the size of a bell pepper but longer,
Yeah.
and then it's like sweet like a bell pepper, and then it's got just that little bit of heat that kicks in on the back end.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I was trying to think. I think I know what pepper exactly you're talking about.
Yep,
It
I know.
almost looks like a colorful poblano, but yeah, like say in a bell pepper size, right?
Yeah,
Is that about what you're thinking? Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yeah. Kind of like a Hungarian wax pepper, I think, like the big longer, kind of
yep,
like that kind of. Yeah, I
yeah,
know
yeah.
it's from something else that they've made it. it came from somewhere else and they brought it here and then I guess did things to it. I'm not quite sure on how the growing and pepper stuff goes like that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No worries there. As far as the powder and stuff that you use in your products, is this all from your own grow, or how do you go about getting all that?
No, so I grow peppers and stuff, but I don't grow nearly enough that I'd be able to really do anything with.
Okay.
But most of my powders and stuff I order online, or like some of my powders like in the butterscotches I do like limited runs of certain things like for that holiday box that I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
That has that actually has Uncle Bull Cow's ghost pepper powder in it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
that was actually something I have it set aside, and I'm going to be doing that one in a future episode. So spoiler alert there.
Oh,
No worries. I'm excited. After what this is, six products now. I was trying to think if it was five or six, but yeah, of yours, and every single one is just a home run. I'm like, man, you are absolutely on to something. Those almonds are phenomenal too. I had to quickly so those candied almonds, or really any kind of those candied, whether it be cashews or almonds or whatnot, my wife loves. So I definitely had to share some of those with her. But it was, yeah, man,
there
they're,
should be a spicy version too at some point.
ooh, I'm definitely liking the
Yep.
sounds of that. Now that one, as well, that and just thinking through that prototype, those are so really the chomper chip too. But the taste and the crunch and everything that goes through on all three of those are just phenomenal. So easily snackable. It's definitely dangerous. A very quick way to end up eating too much and not even realize it. So, man, loving it. Absolutely. Well, so now we talked about the you talked about the one chip challenge. You talked about some other challenges. Has there really been one that's kind of like set you ablaze, and kind of just had you almost down and out and wanting to just tap?
Mm, I mean, there's quite a few. I do have an issue when I do challenges with keeping it down. So a lot of it is struggling to fight my body to keep it down. And then usually after the challenge, it'll end up coming up at some point. It's just one of my, I guess, anti superpowers that I have.
Yep. Yep. No, I get it.
But I guess I've done a lot of Uncle Bull Cow challenges, and some of those are pretty brutal. Um,
I
Other than
always
that,
always hear about those. I have yet to venture that way, but I hear he has some absolutely brutal ones that will put you through the ringer.
oh yeah. There's there was a goldfish one that he had, which had it was the world's hottest goldfish, and it was an idea from Sundance, and he pretty much put a bunch of powder on it and then soaked it in 16 million capsaicin tincture,
Gosh. Oh my goodness. That
and
sounds
it
brutal.
was not like one or two goldfish. It was like I don't know 20, 30 of them in there. It was a pack of them, good handful.
Man. Oh, that sounds bad on obviously going down probably isn't near as bad as how potentially it could be coming back up.
I
Um
think I think on that one was just so hot that my body didn't really know what was happening. So it didn't really react too much to it. And then at the end, when I got done, I kind of got scared after I was done because I was like, all right, that's a lot of stuff down there, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna come up at all. This is gonna be a wild night. And then I don't know, maybe an hour or so after that, I got a small cramp. It all came back up, and And then luckily I didn't get much of a reaction from that through that night. But that one could have been bad.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like it. Oh, yeah, the few times that I've had, actually, I guess the last time I had something that had capsaicin crystal in it was Brandon Joy's Death Cheese from that 12 days box from Cap Crew.
Oh,
And
yep, I've seen the box.
man, it was, so I'm, and it does the weirdest thing. So like I'm lactose intolerant, but like say chocolate doesn't really affect me because typically I don't eat too much chocolate anyways. But it's really just like straight milk, and then I'll also have like some ice cream, of course, and then yogurt kind of messes me up too if I eat too much. But that cheese was absolutely amazing. It had a nice pop, and apparently it was also soaked in capsaicin crystals.
Ooh.
And it was, I mean, from what I was hearing and seeing, just kind of watching some of those playbacks, a lot of people were just obliterated by it, I guess, on the after effects. I was fortunate enough that only issues I had was from my lactose intolerance that I had going on because I had already eaten. I think we had tacos that night, and so I just lathered up with cheese. Oh, we had I had cheese enchiladas with fajita chicken and steak on top of them. And so like I had all this queso just poured all over it already. And I didn't know, obviously, that was the whole surprise of that, was kind of just going in there blind and just doing whatever the day was. So I didn't know that I was going to be diving into more cheese. And yeah, my stomach was not very happy with me after that. But from a cramp standpoint, I probably had, I don't know, maybe a 45-minute total run time of cramps, and I was fine. So very
Not bad.
fortunate there. Compared to some other folks, didn't hear that it was as favorable for them. So, are you in a household that you're the only one that eats spicy, or are you also sharing some of the love with spicy treats and so on?
So I'm the only one in the house that likes, I guess, spicy, but there are like my wife, she likes hot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big difference there between
Yep.
the spicy and hot. But she will try little bits of things that I make and stuff like that, and I kind of then judge off of, obviously she thought it was really really hot, so that one's not really a snack for normal people.
Yeah.
My kid, on the other hand, he he can handle a little bit of heat here and there, but like it's one of those things too. Is like I don't want to push him a little too far, and then he doesn't want it. But
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, I completely understand that. My wife, before my daughters were born, my wife was actually eating quite a bit hotter items than what she is now. Now she kind of gravitates around habanero heat, and that's kind of her plateau right now. That's where she kind of feels comfortable and doesn't really want to exceed, which is fine. My son, on the other hand, he's been trying. It was always so funny because for the longest he was like, "No, I don't like it. I don't like spicy stuff." Da, da, da. And next thing you know, he's trying more and more. And then one day I had that a ghost pepper cookie, and I gave him just a little bit of it, and he was like, "No, I'm good. I'm good." And then like I see he disappears for 10, 15 minutes, then kind of comes back, and he's just looking. He's looking off into space, and I'm like, "You okay?" "Oh, my stomach is hurting." I was like, "You take too much of that cookie?" And he's, "Oh, I think so." So
yeah,
it's always fun. He still, he still gets into different hot sauces and tries to push his own personal best, but I definitely see the hesitation in his eyes at certain things. So, uh, you know,
right.
nothing. I definitely don't disagree with you on the idea of there's no reason to push or to force them into anything past their comfort point. That's kind of their own journey. So that's
Yep.
that's a lot of the fun of it too.
I mean, some of this stuff, I mean, obviously it's not really gonna hurt you like physically, but like it can do some damage. It's hot. Some of that stuff is hot for a normal person.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. I always laugh and not at the people, but at the idea of the individuals that will have a situation where they eat something spicy and to the point where they freak themselves out and either go to the hospital or call for help based on it. And outside of I think we've all been there as chili heads, the idea of sitting on the ground, the cold floor, screaming out, "I'll never do this again if these things just stop." And then, it's always one of those things. The second it's over, it's like 5 minutes passes, and you're like, when's the next thing? So,
Oh yeah. Me and my bathroom floor are pretty good friends.
yeah, God, I don't, man, I don't know. Well, as you're well aware as well, I'm one for the very very limited camp of no prep, and I've just noticed my body personally handles and responds better when I don't prep than the times that I have prepped. And maybe it's just a simple fact as, not knowing. And I've kind of tried some of the things that have been suggested, this, that, and the other. I don't know if I'm just not doing, like, eating enough to prep beforehand, or if I'm eating too much, or what the case is whenever I have tried. But man, it is like 10 times worse for me if I do prep than whenever I don't. When I don't,
Mm.
it's always time delayed. Whenever I really start to feel the overall gut, and it's a longer duration when I've prepped. Like the cramp cycle will be a few hours, as to where if I don't prep, it'll be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, and then it's done. And most of the
Makes
time, I can
sense.
just sleep through it. So
Yeah, I've tried prepping different ways, and I've tried. Well, obviously, I did the one time with no prep, and that was pretty painful. I think I think the prepping for me, it kind of just it might cushion it a little bit, make it a little better, but at least I know in a visual kind of thing at the point, because I know my body, for some reason, my mouth can tolerate everything, my throat, all that can tolerate. For some reason, my stomach just is not on board with the rest of everything. But um, towards the end, obviously, when that prep kind of comes back up, you kind of know, all right, we're getting towards the end of this. We know.
yep.
It's kind of that visual thing then for me, I guess.
Yeah, well, and I know that's a lot of people's, I guess, saving grace, Hail Mary, whatever you want to call it, is that visual representation of what you're getting out, to know that, hey, you've passed it, you're done. Um, it's just, I don't know, it's the weirdest thing. And then at the same time, I guess I'm also a little bit in a different camp than most, as to where it doesn't matter how much spicy stuff I eat, it always beats my mouth the worst. Like, everywhere
Oh,
else is fine, but for some reason I'm the biggest wimp when it comes to mouth burns. So I have to really get into my own head and just clear my mind while it's sitting in the mouth. But
right.
I also think that that's kind of why, um, and no actual scientific proof behind it, but I'm also wondering if that's also why I tend to taste a lot more of what's going on. Is maybe there's like more. I don't know if it would be more receptors or something that's just like able to kind of pick up, and that's why it's burning more there, or what the case is. But
Yeah,
something.
I'm not sure on that.
Yeah, it's definitely
Interesting.
it's definitely interesting, and something I always kind of, it rolls around in my head. I'm like, nah, what is causing this? But it is what it is, and I know what to do for myself, and I try to roll with it that way. But okay, now how can everyone find you, and are you attending many events, whether that be locally? You setting up booths most places, or
So we haven't set up any booths yet. There is a event coming up at some point in the future here,
okay,
and then I do sell at a local coffee shop, and then obviously online at sipscreations.com.
Okay. Now
Yep.
the coffee shop, is that the one that you have the collaboration with on the C3?
Yep. So the um the the building itself used to be a supper club,
Okay.
and during COVID they kind of got hit and decided to kind of remodel the thing into a coffee shop, and then they rent out the kitchen for taco trucks and stuff like that, and that's where I rent
Okay.
as yep.
All right. Here's the website for everyone that's looking here. So you have the products listed here on the side. So I'm just in the shop section. So as you can see, we got the Chomper chip on here, the C3. Got quite a few different things going on. And I mean, absolutely just loving it. I can't wait to get into those butterscotch hard candies. They look amazing. I assume, is that the same as the 10, the with the pillows, the butterscotch pillows?
Yep. Yep, it's the same thing. Just those ones are made into pillows, so that they fit in that nice box, or that nice tin, nicer for the gift.
Hmm.
And then, but once we get everything set up for some of these things that are out of stock and stuff like that, some of them we just have to get on the new site because we just redid everything on our site. But then there'll be those circle ones like the regular ones.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Very nice. Now the choice lineup on flavoring is butterscotch one of your preferred like top flavors that you like, or how did you
Um,
come across butterscotch as a flavoring?
So I did a test of some hard candy when I was making different hard candies and spicy ones,
Hmm.
and I sent some over to Australia to Mark Supple,
Okay.
and he really liked one of the heat. Some of them, one of them that had the amount of heat in it, and he was like, "I feel like this one would do really good with butterscotch," and I was like, "I could try that." So then I went out and bought some, or I ordered some butterscotch flavoring, and then yeah, and that's kind of
Nice.
how that one went. That was thanks to Mark.
Okay. Well, Mark, definitely thank you there. That is some tasty selection that you have going on. So I cannot wait to get into those spicy butterscotch pillows. So they keep calling me, and I already have the video in mind exactly what I'm gonna do. And the second that one's done, I'll definitely tag you on it and make sure you get that on over your way as well.
Awesome.
Man, let's do this. Let's go ahead and flip it on over to the game.
Cool.
All right, well, here we are. This is a very fun edition of Keep 5, Cut 5. This is all geared towards you and your amazing craft. So, on the screen here, I will list off all of these in the order of which they're here. And so, this is also a great time for those that are just audio listening to be able to keep up with what is going on. Best way to go about this is either to pick one to keep or pick one to cut to start and just keep that alternating pattern back and forth as we go through. All right, so up first, number 1, we have caramel. Number 2, we have milk chocolate. Number 3, we have pepper powder. Number 4, we have a freeze dryer. And then a number 5, we have just to represent nuts. It doesn't have to be one specific kind. And then number 6 is white chocolate. 7 is rice puffs. 8 is just to embody a fruit of any kind. And then 9 is coffee. And 10 is mint. So here we go. Where would you like to start, with a keep or a cut?
Oh man. So, hmm. Obviously, we'll keep milk chocolate
All right.
because kind of one of the things they do.
Yep.
Um, we'll keep pepper powder.
Okay.
Um,
What would you like to
Well,
cut?
we're gonna cut the rice.
Rice
Um,
puffs?
yep, rice puffs. Man, getting down to the.
This is where it's going to get really hard. I was picturing this, and I deliberately put the freeze dryer in there because it is that's definitely a style for making these. You got those that either are all about the freeze dryer, or you got the ones that you like the dehydrated taste. So,
Yeah, at some point, I'd like to get into freeze drying, but I think we'll cut that right now.
all right,
Um, Obviously, we got to keep white chocolate. I mean, white chocolate is pretty much cocoa butter,
mm-hmm.
but obviously, we need that to make chocolate. Um, we'll cut fruit.
All right.
We can. Oh man.
Now it gets really hard.
Obviously, ooh. Hmm. So the two that I'll keep will be coffee and mint, mainly because those pair pretty good with a lot of things like chocolate and pepper powder and stuff like that.
Yep, I can definitely see that. The way that this is pieced together, I can already envision what this would be like. Now, uh, is the idea from, say, the crunch of the rice puffs and the peanuts, is that something that you're typically, that's not something that you personally like, or is that just what was
Um,
the rationale behind those two?
so mainly because I kind of already had kind of like the coffee and mint already in my head. And
Okay.
then chocolate, obviously, I had in my head is that I automatically wanted to um, keep those because that's kind of my business that I make.
Yep.
And pepper powder mainly just because obviously that's a good thing that pairs. So it kind of just left those as I had to cut those, but I
Yeah.
do like adding like peanuts and obviously my almonds and stuff like that to
Yep.
things. Rice cereal, I haven't really made anything with rice cereal, but I mean that would be a nice texture, I believe, in something.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. That's where I
Just
was
kind
I
of
was thinking of it too. However, you could still get that same texturized feel too, with a rough grind on that coffee to have little
yep,
nodules in a chocolate. I can already see how that would pair very well with a nice layer of mint. So like that chocolate, nice layer of mint, sprinkle some of that coffee in there, nice lather of powder, a little bit of white chocolate to seal that, and then boom, back with the dark chocolate. I can see this coming together.
yeah, kind of like a minty, spicy C3.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds phenomenal. Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, that was keep five, cut five. I mean, that was pretty easy to go through. It seems like for you. Also, like I said, this was definitely picked and curated based on you and everything that you have going on. So hopefully that was nice and fun. But here's the fun part now, really being able to assist others with a nugget of knowledge. We're going to gear this towards individuals that are looking to join the ranks of, maybe, we can either cater it towards a spicy treat or just a spicy product in general.
If you have an idea, obviously roll with it, and don't be afraid to just continue what you're doing and try to improve it. And like in my case, for a business, if you really set your mind to it, you'll get it rolling, and if you hit hurdles and stuff, there's always people out there that are willing to help you figure out what you need next and how to do this and how to do that. So don't be afraid to ask questions also.
Very well said. And yes, the community, that's the one thing I love the most is how much or like how many people are out there really just loving and caring and really trying to watch the overall growth happen. It is so inspiring to see, and it is a beautiful thing to watch kind of come together. So very well
Yep.
said. Now here's the fun part where you get to put somebody on the hot seat. This is someone that you think would make a great guest for the show.
So I've been thinking quite a bit. I've got a few in mind, but I think there's a couple that would be pretty good for the nomination here. Is kind of getting we could get like Mark Supple.
Okay.
He does a lot of challenges and stuff like that. I do like to watch him.
Okay.
And then I was also thinking a possibility of getting like Paul, Shahina, kind of them on there to kind of tell their story on like the starting of League of Fire and how it became, and you know all that too.
Okay. All right. Well, Mark, I'll be reaching out to set up a time to have you on the show. And Paul and Shaheen, we have that conversation going. So here's your nudge to have that rolling forward. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and we'll be diving into that as well. Do you have anything else you would like to tell those that are watching and listening?
Um, no, I think I'm good.
All right. Anywhere? I know you mentioned it earlier, but here's a great chance for those that are once again just audio listening. How can they find you, and how can they, whether that follow you on socials and or order product?
Yep. So I have a website, sipscreation.com. And if you go there, you make an account. If you want to make an account through there, you can get points, rewards, sometimes giveaways, wheel spinning, and then sometimes we do like holiday gifts and things like that. Otherwise, I have a Facebook, Sips Creations on Facebook.
All right. Well, hey, Sip, thank you so much for coming on here. There's a lot that we can uncover. We start to get into it on the whole crafting and curating of the process that goes through chocolate, and obviously that is just a small fraction of everything we can dive into. But still, so much more we can jump into. Would love to have you back on, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Sip, thanks so much for coming on. It was an honor having you on here. Absolute blast diving in. Can't wait to dive into more on a future episode. If you want to keep up with Sip Chomper and Sip's Creations, I'll have the direct links down below, how you can get a hold of him, as well as grab yourself some of these amazing, whether you get spicy or non-spicy treats for you, your family, friends, and enjoy those because they are absolutely amazing. Thank y'all so much for being here. Could not do this without you. Continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads, and let's continue to grow the podcast as a whole. And thank y'all so much. At the same time, don't forget, brand new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. And quick shout out to our sponsors, webdx.one. If you are looking for a brand new website update on your website, you want to have a better social presence when people come and find you or your business, highly recommend checking out webdx.one, as well as another sponsor that we have, podvision.io. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, hit a bump in the road, and you're trying to get going, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all your social needs. Episode 75 is in the books. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.